Special emergency of the jungle live from the First Star Logistics studio right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm your host, Malik Wright. Guys, I'm going to jump right into it. You guys called for it. You wanted to talk about it. So let's talk about it. The Cincinnati Bengals are being screwed by the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals are being disrespected by the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals, the situation that the Cincinnati Bengals are in is absolutely egregious. Listen, I was there this past Monday, and the excitement from the fan base, the excitement from the team, the excitement from the players, right? The opportunity, everything was in front of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals entered that game Monday night with the opportunity, okay? With the opportunity to grab the number 2 seed to control their own fate and potentially win the 1 seed with a little bit of help from our friends over in Vegas. All the Bengals had to do was control their destiny. Unfortunately, what took place took place. A young man was fighting for his life, and we all empathize and sympathize, and we all understand we don't understand what he was going through, but we all saw that moment. We all were able to remove ourselves from football. Because at that point, football didn't matter. The game didn't matter. That kid's health mattered. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, Coach Zach Taylor, they did the right thing. Sean McDermott, the Buffalo Bills organization, did the right thing. The NFL did the wrong thing. You took an opportunity from a team that fought like hell to get to where they are. Bengals started off 0-2. Everybody wrote them off. And it's moments like this when I step on this show every single Wednesday, the same time, and I tell you guys, I came to Cincinnati to change the media landscape because there's not enough people speaking up for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are the forgotten ones. The Bengals are the disrespected ones on a consistent basis. And it sucks to see a team that fought so hard to reach this pinnacle. See the players fight so hard to reach this pinnacle, overcoming obstacles to reach this pinnacle. And now they're having all this stuff taken away from them potentially. NFL got it wrong. The NFL got it wrong big time. And it's time that somebody calls it out. The thing about State of the Jungle, it's a show for the people. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear you talk. I want to hear you speak passionately about your feelings and how you feel the Bengals have been represented by the NFL. Because I can tell you right now, how fair is it that a team entered the top of the week with everything in front of them? And because they did because they did what they were supposed to do, because they understood in that moment nothing was more important than that young man's health. They're being penalized for it. I don't understand. Someone help me understand. The right thing to do is, if we're talking about coin tosses, let's coin toss the number 2 seed, because at the very least, that's what the Bengals were fighting for, the number 2 seed. What's happening right now before our very eyes is ludicrous. It's ridiculous, and it shouldn't happen. Owners should not vote for this. Damn, I'll be damned, right? If the season gets pushed back 1 more week, I'll be damned that if the AFC playoff picture has to take place a week later because the Bengals and the Bills got to play each other, or whatever the NFL works out. But one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. The Bengals need a fair shake. The Bengals need a fair shake. And in this scenario, the Bengals are not getting a fair shake. They aren't. Some people might say, I don't care about the seed. Are you sure about that? Because these players care about the seed. These players want an opportunity to play in front of their home base. Listen, and what the NFL is saying is they're saying, oh, the Bengals are the AFC North champions. That's enough. Well, everything that comes with being an AFC North champion is being taken away. The prestige that an AFC North champion holds no merit right now. It holds absolutely no merit. Because what you're saying is, if the Cincinnati Bengals, right? If the Cincinnati Bengals go out there and they lose to the Baltimore Ravens, it's a coin flip as to where it might be. But you're calling the Bengals AFC North champions. But they have the opportunity to not being able to even, play a playoff game in front of their home crowd as quote-unquote AFC North champions. A lot like the Los Angeles Lakers when they got their championship in the bubble. No matter which way you slice it, it's tainted. The Bills didn't ask for this. The Bengals didn't ask for this. The Chiefs didn't ask for this. And the Ravens didn't ask for this. It feels wrong. It feels dirty. It feels dirty. It does. I don't even give a damn about the Bengals versus Ravens this week, to be quite honest with you. The NFL needs to get this right. I know they have a vote tomorrow, but the NFL needs to get this right. And they need to get it right quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because right now, the Bengals got robbed. The Bengals got robbed of an opportunity, at least what the NFL is talking about. The Bengals got robbed of an opportunity that they've been fighting for this entire season. That was supposed to be the biggest game of the year. And I am not sitting up here saying the game should continue, because absolutely not. It shouldn't have. And I understand why the Bengals are not playing the Bills. I get that. But what I don't get is the NFL saying, you know what? Let's screw the Bengals, because that's essentially what you're doing. All the talk has been about the Bills versus the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Guess what? The narrative that we're talking about, the NFL's getting their narrative right now. They're getting their narrative. They want the Bills versus the Chiefs. That's what they want. But what about the Bengals? What about the team that beat the Chiefs? Not once, not twice, but 3 times in one calendar year. What about the Bengals that looked like they were on a roll on Monday night? What about the Bengals that haven't had a loss since Halloween? What happens to the Bengals? Somebody has to say it. Somebody has to speak passionately about it. Because what's happening right now is a complete robbery. It's a complete robbery. And that's the suck part, because I saw what Katie Blackburn apparently had said in those league meetings, in those conference calls with Roger Goodell. And to hear his response is basically, no matter which way you slice it, somebody's gonna be the loser. We'd rather not disrupt our schedule. Well, let me disrupt your schedule. I disrupted my schedule to be here in studio to talk about this BS, this crap that the NFL is responsible for. It's crap. Not just for the Bengals, but for the Ravens. And the Chiefs are what? Being handed a number 1 seed after losing to both teams? What sense does it make? I'll tell you, it makes none. Daniel, let's get to some questions.
So before I, get in on this, I have to add in a little sound effect. Malik, you went off there. And before we get to some of these questions, let me just give my 2 cents real quick. The thing that kind of pissed me off the most was, all these other NFL reporters, Ian Rappaport, they said in their tweets, Bengals fans aren't going to be happy about this. Well, if you work for the NFL, shouldn't you be pushing for something, right? Shouldn't you be pushing to make this right and not just be okay with a team getting screwed over? Listen, we understand the situation that happened on Monday, and I want to get to a question from one of our guys earlier up here. But this is what the Bengals get for, showing class. This is what the Bengals get for, Zach Taylor doing the right thing. So a question here from Matt Brewer from earlier in the show. He said, honest question. Do we think if Cincy knew this would be the outcome, would they have finished the game Monday night?
God's honest truth, I think the Cincinnati Bengals wouldn't have. They have too much class and too much respect. They do. They just do. And nobody should be blaming them. That kid was the only thing that mattered Monday night. I am not doing this show to bash the Buffalo Bills or the handling of that game, because that game 100% shouldn't have been played. However, this is still a situation that needs to be handled. And the Cincinnati Bengals are getting screwed. They're getting screwed royally right now. It's basically said, you know what? So what? You're the 3rd seed. It really is going to come down to the Bills and Chiefs anyway. That's what the league is saying. And that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. Every NFL fan should be pissed right now. And all I see on Twitter right now is the Bengals are getting screwed. The Bengals are getting screwed. The Bengals are getting screwed. So if everybody has the same sentiment, what does that tell you, Roger Goodell? What does that tell you, NFL? The Bengals are getting screwed in the situation. Because I promise you, there are teams on both aisles, Bills, Chiefs, whoever, that don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. But guess what? A screw job is a screw job. And the title of this, Emergency State of the Jungle, speaks for itself. The Bengals are getting screwed by the NFL.
So I've got 2 challenges for the audience. First, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe for more. We do this every single week. And the other challenge is comment down your guys' thoughts. Listen, Malik is up here ranting. We were in the car driving up here, and he was letting off his steam, and this is the chance for you guys to do it too. So make sure you guys drop any of your questions and comments. Malik, we've got a question from our guy Jared. He said, what are the chances that they change this coin flip nonsense with the Baltimore?
Oh, absolutely. I expect, listen, if we get enough public outcry, if people say this is BS, guess what? I don't think it'll go through. I don't think so. But it takes a lot of people to stand up and say this is crap. What's going on right now is crap. The fact that it's not even an option right now being discussed for the Bengals to get the number 2 seed, when Monday night they had the opportunity to get the number 2 seed and even potentially get the number 1 seed had they had a little help from the Raiders. Now you're just pretty much saying, you know what, you're settling at the 3 seed. Oh, and by the way, I know you're playing the Ravens this week, but you're going to have to play the Ravens again next week. Come on, man. What sense does it make? It makes zero. It makes absolutely no sense. It's, again, somebody has to call it out. This is ridiculous.
A question from our guy Masty Flips. If the Bengals beat the Ravens, does any of this matter?
Yes, it matters. Here's why it matters. Because the Bengals had the opportunity to go in and get the number 2 seed, which would have given the Cincinnati Bengals home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Now what the league is saying is the Bengals, if this gets approved, don't get the number 2 seed. Meaning, if the Bengals win their wild card round matchup against the team that they're facing the last week of the season, oh, by the way, is their divisional rival. Oh, by the way, it's the 3rd time they're facing them this season. Guess what? Guess what? The Bengals beat the Ravens. They got to play the Ravens again. Then if the Bengals beat the Ravens in the playoffs, they got to then go to Buffalo if Buffalo wins, which Buffalo is probably going to win. Who wants to play in Buffalo in January with the weather? Nobody. So it matters. It matters. Playoff seeding matters. This is why people were saying, you know what? Have the Bengals and Bills play each other next week. Push the AFC playoff picture back a week. Let NFC wildcard take back a week. Get rid of the Pro Bowl. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl anyway. They don't. No one cares. No one wants to see an NFL quarterback throw the football through a hula hoop. We don't care. Get it right, NFL. This is wrong. What's happening right now is wrong.
Our guy Michael Rolfe is asking, question for Malik. He's asking, about the current landscape of what.
Mike, I don't know. I don't know what the NFL is planning. It seems like it's changing by the minute. I don't know what the NFL's thought process is, nor can I even allow myself to get there. It's wrong. What's happening to the Bengals is wrong. If you guys can do me a huge favor, if you agree with me that what's happening to the Bengals is wrong, do me a huge favor, all 295, 300 people that we have in here right now, not only give this video a like, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you could help me. That's how you could help me.
So, yeah, we got a lot of people just upset. People are asking.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Understand. Every single Bengals fan should be in here right now pissed. Everybody should be. I have not seen one Bengals fan, even the most positive of positive ones, saying, you know what, that we got a great deal in it. Bengals got screwed. They're getting screwed.
Honest question from here, our guy Jim here. Do you think the NFL is giving the Bengals the consolation of AFC North champs to try to mask the screw job of losing home
Let
field?
me tell you something. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. The Bengals were screwed. This feels like it's not even fair to the Ravens. It's not. It's not that if you want to jump on the show and you think maybe I'm being biased, I'm not being biased. It's not fair to the Ravens. The Ravens should have had a fair shake at the division. They have beaten us already this season. They did. Like it, love it, who cares? It's a fact. So the way I see it, I don't even know, man. I'm at a completely loss. I'm at a loss where I can't even believe that what the Bengals were fighting for was completely robbed of them. I can't fathom it.
I'm going to roll through some of these comments. Right now, Matt Bruce said the Bengals are the number 3 trending topic in the entire world right now.
Right, because they were screwed. It's like the Bret Hart Montreal screw job when Vince McMahon took his belt from him in WWF or whatever it was called. Like, this is the exact same thing. Guess what? Cincinnati, and you know what? It's true. Listen, at the end of the day, the Bengals football team, they were playing with a fire the last 2 months. And now for them to just basically be screwed like this, it's wrong. It's not right.
Malik, question from our guy, Lucky the Football God. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No. I've never seen anything like this. This is insane. Nobody agrees with it. It's wrong. The Bengals should have every opportunity to get the number 2 seed. And the Bengals should not be handed an AFC North championship either. Because the Bengals, I can guarantee you, they don't want it. Everything that was sacred, everything that made sense of an AFC North champion, the league basically stripped them of that. Come on now. It's wrong. The Bengals should have every shot to win the 2 seed. Now they're caught in a trifecta. Okay, what do? Do we play our starters? Of course you play your starters. Because if you don't play your starters, guess what happens? You might lose a chance at a home playoff game, which isn't fair to the Cincinnati Bengals faithful. It's wrong. This is crap. This is a load of BS.
Brian Paul is asking, Malik, what would you like to see happen instead?
Brian, great question. So here's what I would like to see happen. It's not going to happen. Let me just preface it that way. I would love for Cincinnati versus Buffalo to be played next week. That's what I would love to see happen. I would love to see the AFC playoff picture get pushed back a week. I don't give a damn if we're giving people a bye week. Sure, whatever. Call it what you want. But that game is too damn important. If not, here's what I want. If you don't want Bills versus Bengals being played next week, along with the NFC wildcard picture, here's what you could do. You could do a coin flip. Since the NFL seems to be obsessed with coin flips right now, let's do a damn coin flip. Whoever wins is the number 2 seed. At least give the Bengals a fighting chance. At least give them a fighting chance. Because right now, we're not even getting that. They're not even getting that. That's not fair to any of those players, any of those coaches. Let's keep it going.
Absolutely love the energy right now, Malik. So something that's you're going to get a kick out of this. Joe Mixon just posted the rule book. He does not seem happy. I went to his Twitter and here's the photo he showed, and he posted the actual NFL rule book. So he said, what are your thoughts on Joe Mixon?
Exactly. Joe Dean. Listen, I've been covering Joe's camp the last couple of years and having great conversation. We have a great relationship and everything like that. I'll tell you right now, he's absolutely 100% right. Bengals players should be pissed. They should be pissed. Now, I don't know if Zach and those guys will be happy that he's upset, but guess what? Of course they're upset. They worked their behinds off for this opportunity, and it's getting robbed of them. Why? It's a screw job.
Dalton, our guy right here, he's talking about, what do you think, or do you think other teams are going to back up the Bengals or speak on their behalf?
I hope so. Because if it could happen to them, it could happen to you. I hope so. But I don't know. It's wrong.
Justin is talking about, do you think Katie will be respected enough to win enough owners to vote against these scenarios?
Listen, the Brown family are some of the best of the best that the NFL has to offer. They get a bad rap, but they're some of the best that the NFL has to offer. They are. And they stand up for what's right. They stand up for what they believe in. I'd hope that people would stand up. I hope that ownerships around the league would stand side by side with the Blackburns, with the Bengals, and say what's happening right now is wrong. But I can't guarantee that. Because guess what? They might be looking at it from what's beneficial to them. It's a sad truth. It's a sad reality. But this is where we, as the city of Cincinnati, need to stand up and we need to call this BS out. Because guess what? The Bengals, this is them getting the short end of the stick. This is. And it needs to be corrected fast.
Ryan is asking the question that all Bengals fans are asking. Do you know why the NFL keeps loving the Chiefs even though they're a small market team?
I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback. He's fun to watch. He's on a billion commercials. He's flashy, gives the league a lot of whiz-out plays and things of that nature. You know, that's the way I see it. I mean, I look, I'm not here to bash one team or anything like that. I'm just saying it's wrong. The fact that the Bengals don't even have an opportunity at the number 2 seed is wrong. It's egregious. I'm going to sit up on this desk and this spot for as long as I could to talk to you guys about it, to hear all you. We're going to get to each and every single one of your questions as long as it takes. It takes me till 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's keep it going.
People are fired up. Talk to them, Malik. We're getting screwed. Andrew's asking, at least let them play in week 19. Do you think that would be an option?
I think it should be an option. It's one of those things where they're not talking about it right now, but it should be an option. 100%, it should be an option. That game, if it were, again, the NFL already ruled it's not being resumed. So that's already out of the question. And shut up, Jack Crick. Shut up.
I'll get to that question.
It's called talking proper.
I'll get to that comment in a bit. I'm still back up to a little bit, but would this happen if the Chiefs or Bills were in our position? Do you think it would happen?
I can't answer that. I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, the way this is an unprecedented situation that's ever happened in the NFL. Unprecedented situation. The fact of the matter is what's going on right now is ridiculous. I couldn't stand by quiet and not jump on here and talk to you guys about it tonight. It's wrong. Again, if you can, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you agree with me. If you don't, okay.
Nate's got a question for you. Do you think that this motivates the team to come out firing on Sunday?
100%. 100%. I told Daniel yesterday, I had a feeling the Bengals were going to get the short end of the stick. I said, I expect the Cincinnati Bengals to come out playing with their hair on fire because it's disrespectful what's happening.
Matt is asking, so the Bengals will need to play the Ravens 2 weeks in a row. Do you think that the Bengals are going to rest their starters if this continues?
No, because you basically are potentially just giving away a chance at a home playoff game, and that's at a Bengals disadvantage. It is.
Taylor dropped down a question. Does anybody actually care about the Pro Bowl? Can they move that to after the Super Bowl?
They can. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. Who watches the Pro Bowl? Dan, you were at the Pro Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Was it a packed out house? Were people saying, "Oh my God, I can't wait for the Pro Bowl"?
No one said that at all.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no one said that at all. As a Niners fan, I feel for the Bengals fans. The Bengals fans also got screwed in the Super Bowl last year. It's got people commenting, Mahomes is overrated. Malik, just overall, what else are you feeling about the Bengals right now?
I think the Bengals were on a special run this year. I think the Bengals were on a special run this year. And I think what took place or whatever is being discussed is egregious, no matter which way you look at it. The Bengals should have a shot at the number 2 seed. The Bengals should not be fixed in at the number 3 seed, because if we want to talk facts, the Bengals were rolling on Monday. We don't know how that game would have played out. So I'm not going to say the Bengals would have won. I'm not going to say the Bengals would have lost. I'm going to say the Bengals did not look like a team that was fixed in at the number 3 seed. That's what I said, what I'll say. The Bengals look damn good. The Bengals look like they were up to the task. The Bengals look like they were ready. That's what they look like to me. So how did you enter the week with everything in front of you? And you end the week, you didn't lose. You end the week with it being snatched away. That is what pisses me off. That is what I can't get behind. That is what I don't understand.
Jared is asking, can we get another Malik Gritty if the Bengals beat Baltimore week 18, beat them in the wild card, and then
No, I'm not gritty. I'm pissed. I'll gritty when the NFL changes this. That's when I'll gritty. That's when I'll be excited. And like this is ridiculous. Why are we even having this conversation right now? The Bengals should be having an opportunity to get the number 2 seed. This is wrong. No matter which way you slice it. Let's keep it coming, Daniel.
Yeah.
Come on.
John is asking, are they going to be handing out refunds for the fans that were at the game?
Again, NFL, what are we doing? What are we doing? There are so many questions that need to be answered. That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't know what this league is doing anymore. I don't know what they're doing anymore. I genuinely don't. But this is wrong.
Malik, you are 100% right. We got just questions completely flooding in here. So owners have to vote tomorrow. Do they need to be heavily against this in order to change this?
I think 9. You need 9. Can I tell you what I would love, guys? You know what I would love? And this is something unprecedented that has never happened in the NFL before. It is. How about the number 2 and 3 seed play each other in the first round of the playoffs? How about that, NFL? Anybody ever thought about that? You want to give them the, sure, whatever. How about those 2 play each other? Any takers on that? We're throwing out all these coin flip ideas. How about those 2 play each other? Bengals versus Bills. Listen, we'll give up the fact that we were up 7-3 on them. We'll clean it, but we get home field advantage. We get home field. No, we get the home game because we never finished that one out. But they wouldn't vote on that.
Malik, what do you think about the argument saying Buffalo and Cincy played the same amount of games and Buffalo lost 1 less? Seems like a cop-out.
I have my thoughts. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you feel like the weight of this entire situation or of this game is unreasonable also because of the Bengals' mental roller coaster this week?
I think the Bengals have the right leadership and the right people in that building and the right people in that locker room to overcome this BS. But the fact of the matter is, this is a load of crap. That's just the way it is. It just is. There was an easier way to do it, but the NFL was so adamant that they didn't want to disrupt their postseason procedures. And that's just wrong. Do you think the Bengals or the Bills wanted to cancel? Do you think that the Bengals or Bills wanted to cancel a regular season game? No, they didn't. But guess what? Drastic situations causes us to make drastic decisions. And a drastic decision, a drastic change would have been, okay, let's push the playoffs back for the AFC back a week. Let's resume that Bills-Bengals game because it's so important. It's so important. So important. That's what a change would have been. It's ridiculous. So now you're basically saying to the Bengals, hey, you got to go out there and you got to beat Baltimore twice, essentially.
Shanna said, we need the Patriots to beat the Bills to get the number 2 seed. Do you think that there's any chance that the Patriots beat the Bills, Malik?
I think it's a chance. But right now, the way they're talking about it, that's not what the Bengals need. It wouldn't change. The Bengals wouldn't move to the number 2 seed if the Bengals would be fixed in at the number 3 seed no matter what. That's what we're talking about. Right now, the Bengals have what's being discussed. The Bengals have no shot at the number 2 seed. And that's why we're doing the show. That's why we're talking about this right now. So, Shannon, that's a great. You're absolutely right. Ideally, you would think that that's what would take place, but no, the Bengals are the NFL's wiping it off like it doesn't. The game never even existed.
One DJ said we literally could have done the same exact thing that was done during the COVID season. but they didn't.
Yeah. And the sucky part about it is the Bengals the Bengals controlled, right? The Bengals entered the week, starting the week controlling their own destiny. They started the week controlling their own destiny. And now it's nothing. It's like, hey, Bengals, thanks for participating. You're locked into the 3 seed. Oh, and you're AFC North champions. Oh, by the way, you might not get a home playoff game if you lose week 18. It's a losing situation, and it's wrong. Let's keep the conversations coming.
Yeah, so we got a question from Jim here. Malik is right. The Bengals could have controlled their own destiny. Now we're talking about all these BS scenarios.
They complicated the situation a lot more. My buddy Grant, who's in studio with me right now, he said the exact same. He said, it was complicated. They complicated things a lot more than what it had to be. And it's truth. It's ridiculous. Let's keep it coming.
Yeah, Malik, Baltimore isn't Baltimore with a backup quarterback. So it's really only beating them without Lamar. What are your thoughts on the game?
I am not downplaying any team. I am not going to do that because Baltimore Ravens are a great coach team. They are a great coach team. And Snoop Utley is one of those type of quarterbacks who can sneak up on you. It's not, even though Lamar is quote unquote not expected to play this week, I have a hard time seeing Lamar missing the playoff game. I just do. So for me, I at the end of the day, again, I think the Bengals should have a fair shake at the number 2 seed. And that's what I'm advocating for right now.
Our guy Mike was talking about the beginning of the Bengals versus Bills game. He said 7-3 in the first quarter. The Bengals were absolutely rolling.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I thought the Bengals were on fire. Something special was around that team that night. And again, unfortunate situations. This was an unfortunate situation. Nobody asked for this.
Good question here from one DJ. Do you think that this is the NFL punishing Zach Taylor for going against the commissioner because he chose to not play the game?
I'm not here for conspiracies. I have no idea what went through Roger Goodell's mind or the NFL's mind. I just know that the Bengals are being wronged. And let's keep going.
Do you think that there could be any truth to the Bengals getting penalized because because they morally did the right thing on Monday?
Not because they morally did the right thing, I just think that it's more so because you didn't do what the NFL asked, but if anything, but yeah, let's keep it going.
So somebody's talking about the entire rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Malik, how do you think that the Bengals are going to respond from this? And do you think that they can still make the Super Bowl?
I think the Bengals are going to play pissed off. I think it's going to make them even more hungry. But the road to the Super Bowl got much more difficult because of the NFL's ineptitude. And that's a fact. Let's keep it going.
So, I'd take the L on Sunday and win in Baltimore on Wild Card Weekend since he is great on the road. Would you do the same thing?
I think the issue at hand, I think the Bengals should have had the opportunity to compete for the number 2 seed. That's it. I think that the Bengals need the opportunity to have a fair shake at the number 2 seed. If you want to give the Chiefs the number 1 seed, whatever. But I think the Bengals need a fair shake at the number 2 seed because that gives them every opportunity to, work, to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs right now. Right now with the victory, all the Bengals are guaranteed is a home victory if they win against the Ravens.
Joe said, you should know better. We are Bengals fans. We're used to getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
And that's why I came to Cincinnati, to try to be the change, right? For media to catalyst and call the NFL out on their BS. I always felt like the Bengals got a bad shtick. And it's just simply egregious. And you need people to stand up and stand for something. And that's what I believe.
Jonah Huber is saying, are you going to take back these words if this entire thing is overturned?
Am I going to take back what words? What words am I taking back? Right now, what is being talked about is egregious. I hope me doing this show, I hope that they come up with a different solution. So no, I don't take back any words. The NFL needs to rethink what they're currently discussing. What do I need to take back? They need to take back what they're talking about.
Christopher asks, do you think that this is going to negatively affect T. Higgins' performance on the field in the future?
No. I think T. Higgins is a dog. T. Higgins is going to get by that. Like, everybody was thinking, the entire league, right? Not just the Bengals, everybody was thinking about Damar Hamlin, because at that point, that was the only thing that mattered. This is not me saying that game should have been resumed or anything of the sort. I'm simply saying the number 2 seed, the Bengals need an opportunity to get that, because that was realistically, right, without any help, that's at the very least what was in front of them. That was what was in front of them.
So let me hop in here real quick, Malik.
Okay.
I'm just kind of, people are talking about the MVP race, right? People are talking about Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. This isn't about the MVP race. This isn't, right? Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have said time and time again that they're focused on the Super Bowl. And if anything, you've seen a player like Joe Mixon, you've seen the rest of their players say, come out and talk about how they're frustrated about this entire thing. And it shows that this actually matters, right? Seeding does matter. So for the Cincinnati Bengals, yes, this matters. And yes, that's why we're talking about this, because it's important that the NFL hears this, and it's important that the NFL looks at themselves in the mirror. And if their own reporters like Ian Rappaport are saying, oh, well, Bengals fans are going to be upset. If you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, we're screwing over a team, what are you doing, right? What are you doing? So I'm just kind of, frustrated seeing people talk about the MVP. This isn't about the MVP. This is about the Bengals getting screwed over. So, Malik, do you think Lamar will play in the playoff game if they have to play them in the wild card round?
I have a hard time seeing Lamar sitting out of the playoff game. That's just, yeah.
I want you to touch on something, and this is what Matthew Hoare is saying. He said, if the Bengals win out and win the Super Bowl, this would go down as the greatest run in NFL history. Malik, time and time again, we talked about this earlier. You said this is going to make for the best story ever. What are your thoughts on that?
True. I think battle tested makes war ready, and I think that this is one of those things where the Cincinnati Bengals have come out. And let me just clarify something. I see people keep talking about the Buffalo Bills. If the Buffalo Bills lose, then the Bengals win, the Bengals have a shot. You guys are missing the point. The Bengals had the opportunity to control their destiny by a win. The Bengals would be in the number 2 seed. The Bengals should not have to rely on another team to get the number 2 seed. I saw the Patriots play live. They are not a good football team. If you're praying and you're banking on that, I have news for you. You're wrong. You should not be praying and banking on that. This Bills team has more talent than that Patriots team in their pinky. I'm simply telling you. The Bengals had everything in front of them and can control their own destiny on Monday. Now they have to rely on all these different factors in order to get to where they want to go in the number 2 seed. That's not fair. So what I'm saying is the Bengals need a fair shake at the number 2 seed. Please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. The Bengals deserve a fair shake at the number 2 seed, controlling their own destiny. I see people tweeting at me on Twitter and saying this and that and third about what Daner said about the Bengals potentially relying on the Patriots. They shouldn't have to rely on the Patriots to beat the Bills, because the Bengals on Monday night were in a situation to which they were facing the Buffalo Bills, and the Bengals were up on the Buffalo Bills. And had the Bengals stayed up on the Buffalo Bills, the Bengals would be the number 2 seed and actually had the AFC North crown. But now we're relying on other people. What I'm saying is the Bengals should not have to rely on someone for the number 2 seed, because they controlled their own destiny.
This is why I love the Bengals community. We have an answer to one of our questions earlier. Season ticket holders are going to get a refund or credit to their accounts, and single game ticket holders are going to get refunded through Ticketmaster. That was from our guy, Ryan. Love to hear that.
Appreciate you, Ryan.
Malik, a question from our guy, once again, Michael. I want you to kind of shed some light. He said, had the Bengals said they wanted to continue this game on Sunday, what would have happened? But I want you to kind of tell the Bengals fan base, remind them, just how good is this team? Can this team win the Super Bowl?
I think the Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I think the Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I think the Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I think the Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I said it that many times so you could understand that's what I view them as. Right? The fact of the matter is, I think the Bengals are the most battle-tested team. They've had a hard schedule, and the Bengals have faced a lot better competition than a lot of these teams in the NFL. That's what I think.
Nate Johnson said, I would have rather have had them do a coin flip to decide the Bills and Bengals game. What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. Whatever gives them a fair shake. If that gives them a fair shake, let's do it. But right now, to simply say nothing, that's not right.
Would you be okay if the Bengals-Bills game is at a neutral site in the playoffs?
Sure. But right now, that's not even being discussed. The only thing that's being discussed at a neutral site is the AFC Championship between the Bills and the Chiefs.
Al-Curad is saying, so we're going to sit here and cry over being 3 and not 2, like we didn't win road games last year? Whatever.
Whatever you got to say, my man. You sit here and cry, and no, it's not about that. It's about being disrespected. That's what it's about. And if you're comfortable being disrespected, sure, that's you. I'm not comfortable being disrespected, and I don't think the Bengals organization should be comfortable feeling disrespected. So if that's what you're okay, if you're okay with people stepping over you and walking over you in life, then that's you, my man. But I don't think the Bengals organization nor the Bengals fan base stands for that. Keith
Bradley's asking, do you think you see any starters sit out on Sunday because of what happened on Monday?
Can't tell you. I don't know. I think that this situation is fluid. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Tomorrow's going to be very, very interesting. That's what I think. But here's what I will tell you. I still think the Bengals are going to go to the Super Bowl. That's not the point of this emergency show. Like the fact of the matter is, the reason why we are doing this is because the Bengals should have a fair shake at the number 2 seed in controlling their destiny, because that's what they had entering the week. And I want to get to Jordan Small's comment. Jordan, I was there at the game. And you must have just joined the live when I just said this. And again, if you're not familiar with the State of the Jungle, we address comments. We talk to people about these different things today. I said several times on the show, that game should have never been resumed. The only thing that was important in that moment was that young man's life. This is not a shot at the Buffalo Bills. This is not a shot at that game. What I'm saying is, the Bengals entered the week controlling everything. They should end the week with the opportunity to control everything, whatever that looks like. But in that moment, and still, the only thing that matters was that young man's life.
Somebody asked the question, Malik, how do you see a potential 49ers versus Bengals Super Bowl playing out? It seems poetic, but would Joey Cool be able to defeat the 49ers defense?
I think that the Niners would scare me a lot more if Jimmy Garoppolo was at the quarterback position. I don't know. Brock Purdy doesn't really do it for me. I think he's good. I think he's shocking a lot of people, but that's just my thoughts.
Joe said, do you know how much money that Cincinnati or downtown Cincinnati and the Bengals are going to be cheated out of this? It's absurd.
I agree. It's going to be crazy. I just want to, if you guys are first time, viewers of the show, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the Sit Down with Malik Wright's, YouTube channel, which is right here where we're going live off of. We do a show each and every single Wednesday live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're obviously doing this impromptu one early because the Bengals fans requested it, and you know what? I love talking with you guys. But give this video a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you guys can really, really help us. We're constantly doing giveaways, whether it be, jackets, and, we gave away $500 the other day. So feel free to subscribe. We greatly appreciate your support.
And this is why we do the show, right? We do the show to answer the questions, to answer the comments, and we're a place for Bengals fans and all NFL fans to come, when they want to share their opinion. So Lucky the Football God said, Malik, I feel like our city is getting disrespected for the last time today. It feels like the league does not care about us.
Yeah, it feels that way sometimes, and I think it's one of those situations where you got to just continue. I agree with you, Jordan. I think no matter the situation, somebody's going to feel burned, which is why I would even be okay with the coin toss, a coin toss, just something neutral, right? Because just like the Bills controlled their own destiny, the Bengals controlled their own destiny, right? The Chiefs controlled their own. I think it would be, there has been so much talk of coin toss. I think that at least, at the very least, they should have a coin toss for the number 2 seed, at the very least, with everything else staying intact as well. Give us a loss or give us a victory, but just,
Eric said Bills fans have switched up over the last 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't speak to that. I don't know. I'd rather.
Yeah. Matt said, how hilarious would it be if the Chiefs lose, Bills win and get the number 1 seed, and then the Chiefs lose to the Patriots in the divisional round?
Yeah, that would be crazy. I think that would even cause even more uproar. You might see me back up here talking about it and the way this thing played out, if that's the case.
Keith said, Malik and the crew are first class.
No, you are, brother. We appreciate your support. You're in the show each and every single week. Can't do this without you guys. That's the one thing about State of the Jungle. It's Cincinnati's only live in studio all Bengals talk show. We do this. We can't do this without you guys. We appreciate the support that you show me, that you show First Start Logistics, and you show you show the entire team. We really, really appreciate you. If you can subscribe, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it.
Mike said, I just subbed. Great show. Good question here from Ramble Gamble. Malik, I'm very curious to see what you have to say.
Sure.
Do you think Zach Taylor should have been more balanced in his presser and maybe not said we're cool with whatever Buffalo wants to do?
It's one of those tricky situations. You don't want to come off as insensitive at all in the slightest. I think Zach Taylor handled it with class. And that's everything he's exhibited since he's been here in Cincinnati, through everything that he's endured, his family's endured since coming to Cincinnati. He's first class. He's a first class coach, and we're very, very lucky to have him, being the leader of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Jonah Huber said, how upset do you think that the NFL would be if the Bengals made a big time playoff run?
Oh my God. I don't think anybody is, I don't think anybody's like, let's go Bengals in the NFL. But I think the Bengals, I love the Bengals saying, why not us was last year. This year, this year it's, they got to play us. And that's 100% true. I want to remind everybody, every Bengals fan, I said it last week on the show, I want every single Bengals fan that is in here, right, to remember we are the defending AFC champions. They are the defending AFC champions. So yes, they do have to play us. And until the Bengals get knocked off, until the Bengals are no longer competing, they still are the measuring stick in the AFC. I was called crazy. Before. But the fact of the matter is, the Bengals are still the team to beat. And people don't like to hear that. People get uncomfortable hearing that. But it's a fact. Just like the Rams, who are no longer, in contention, they were the defending NFC champions. They were the defending Super Bowl champions. They're no longer in contention. So it's up for grabs. The AFC is still the Bengals. The Bengals are still the team to beat. Simple as that.
Jeff Flynn said, we need national media like those on Good Morning Football and Kay Adams to call out the disrespect shown to Cincy tomorrow morning. Do you think any of them will do it?
No, especially if you work for the NFL. I think it's very, very hard. It's very, I don't want to say that they absolutely will. I just think that at the end of the day, I think that, I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are one of those teams where if, they're gonna play. They're gonna play regardless. They're gonna show up. They're gonna play. They're gonna punch you in the mouth, and they're gonna fight hard. That's literally Ohio at its finest, right? Hardworking people, and that's something that I love about this state and Cincinnati. What I love about this city, we're the type of people we're gonna strap up our boots and we're gonna keep working hard no matter what. So the Bengals are gonna show up. The Bengals are gonna show up to play no matter who they got to play, and yeah.
Bam Bam said Malik has been doing amazing. Someone that I want to model after me, trying to be a guy who talks about Bengals football.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. Much love to each and every single one of you guys. Again, I am nothing without you guys, so I appreciate your support.
Jim asked, Malik, can you comment on Goodell's quote about, as we consider the football schedule, our principles have been to limit disruption across the league and minimize competitive inequity?
All I hear is a bunch of BS and a bunch of fluff. That's all I hear.
Ryan asks, can we talk about the need to improve noise timing at home games? We get way loud, way too late, need to get loud as soon as a play is over.
Yeah, I think that's something that's continuously changing over time with the Bengals. The Bengals have definitely tried to improve their in-game experience and things of that nature. I do not work for the Bengals. I am no advocate for the Bengals. I'm what's known as an NFL insider. And I've been to every single home game this year. I could tell you I've been impressed with what they've done. I think that they could improve. Obviously, nothing's perfect, but Yeah.
Les said, as usual, nice guys finish last, but could this be a blessing in disguise by adding rocket fuel to our fire?
Oh, for sure. It could be. It could be. But I'm just here as a proponent of giving the Bengals a fair shake, and that's something that I'll always stand by.
Question, or more of a comment here. I can't wait for us to run the playoffs and show the hypocrisy up Goodell for the rest of this year.
Yeah. Listen, I want nothing more than the Cincinnati Bengals to shock everybody, shock the world, and do big stuff.
So Elise said the Cincinnati versus the Bills game should be at a neutral site as well.
Yep, I agree, and that's the thing. It's not being discussed as that right now. And if the Bills go on to beat the Patriots, like I expect them to go on and beat the Patriots, and the Bengals beat the Ravens, and the Bengals then beat the Ravens again, the Bengals would have to play the Bills in Buffalo.
Probably a long shot, but if DJ Reader played a full year, do you think he would be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year? He's literally a run stopper and grossly underrated.
DJ Reader still doesn't get the respect that he deserves. So it's very, very, I think the NFL will always value edge rushers and all that kind of stuff over a guy like DJ Reader, unless your name is Aaron Donald and you have a high sack rate, ratio, things of that nature. But yeah, I don't know.
Rambo Gamble once again asked a very good question. Is outrage justified by Bengals fans if the Raiders beat the Chiefs on Saturday and the Bills get the #1 seed?
100%. But again, it's one of those things where I'm advocating for what the Bengals could control, which was their destiny, which was the potential #2 seed. That's what I'm advocating for. Anything that, the Bengals sort of needed help for, I could understand that. I'd be like, all right, whatever, it's over and done with. But the Bengals could control, could have controlled getting the #2 seed at the start of the week. Now they need help. And that's not how it should be.
Dalton asked, neutral sites. Malik, overall, what are your thoughts on playing at a neutral site in the playoffs?
It's better than playing, playing somewhere else. And I think, like I said, I just think that there needs to be an opportunity for a fair shake.
People are they're going absolutely crazy here.
I love it. I appreciate all that. If you guys can subscribe to the YouTube channel, we greatly appreciate all your help, all your support. Just so you guys know, the State of the Jungle goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Me and my co-host Logan, we're usually here. We actually are doing a show tomorrow. We're actually doing a show today. We're doing a show today at 7 p.m. Eastern time with my co-host Logan. We'll be talking about everything. So we'll also be picking a winner for our jacket contest as well. So
Chasten said, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your evening and coming here to do a live. This is greatly appreciated.
Of course, I am nothing without you guys. Like I might be in media and all this kind of stuff like that, but I appreciate you guys supporting us each and every single week. Hopefully you guys don't get tired of me because I never get tired of coming and bringing the show to you guys. And again, I love you guys. I really, really do.
Jikes said, I'm of the opinion that Sunday's Bengals-Ravens game should be the AFC North title game. Winner wins a division and plays at home.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that too. I think, again, I've said, I think the Ravens deserve a fair shake too in this situation. And I've been saying that. I've been an advocate of it. This is not me just sitting up here saying the Bengals are the only team that was wrong. There's a lot of teams that were wrong, quote unquote, in this. If you're not going to resume the Buffalo Bills Bengals game, fine. Understand it was a tragic situation all around. I'm happy that the young man is doing a lot better. But I think every team deserves more clarity, and what's being discussed right now doesn't seem like it deserves. It gives more clarity, gives more confusion.
Soda said, this is the first time catching it live. Great to see I'm not the only one outraged by all of this. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys again. We're creeping up on the 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. mark almost.
It's almost 1?
Almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, I love you guys. I love talking NFL football. I'll be back, doing it again tomorrow at 7 p.m. But I just knew that I couldn't sleep at night knowing what was being discussed by the NFL with good conscience. I just couldn't. So, yeah.
We've got a good question here asking about neutral sites. Josh Sneed said, where do you think a neutral site game would be? A city in between, somewhere warm that hosts big events?
I've got 2 options for you. I've got Indianapolis for the Colts. I like that. I think it's a good site. If you're gonna do a neutral site, make sure it's a dome, right?
Yeah.
That's my thought process. Even the playing field. Or if Cincinnati has to play Buffalo in the divisional round, let's do it in Detroit. Let's do it in Detroit. Don't tell me it can't be done, because when Buffalo had a huge snowstorm, they played in Detroit, so it can be done.
I also know that some people are talking about either in Atlanta or somewhere else, like that could potentially be an option. But Malik, any comment on what Bart Scott said?
So are you talking about the same comment he made before?
Both the same, and also he apparently, I think, either put something out after that. But overall, Bart Scott, what do you?
I think Bart Scott's an idiot. There's no way about it. No two ways to squeeze a lemon, right? I think that Bart Scott is who he is. He's shown us several times who he is, talking about a red dot on Joe Burrow, talking about physically harming a player. And the league has done such an amazing job since the early 2000s of getting rid of the targeting rule. And remember, they had the entire scandal with the Saints, putting bounties out on players and stuff like that. And for that guy, that joke, to sit up on television and say what he said, it's ridiculous. It makes him and makes his network seem less reputable. And they lose a lot of credibility for it. So I feel how I feel about Bart Scott. He's welcome on my show each and any time to discuss this or discuss some of the takes that he makes. And that's for any national media member that makes egregious takes, not just Bart Scott.
Malik, the one thing I learned about this live is how funny Bengals fans are.
I love Bengals. Listen, Bengals fans are them.
Rambo Gamble said, "Why does it feel like the AFC North champs feels I just bought a used Palmer jersey from Goodwill?" and our guy Matt.
That's what the league basically did, man.
This one is hilarious. Matt said, "I feel like Rodgers going to send this neutral site game to London."
Right. That's something he would do. That is something he would do.
So we've got a couple more questions here. The random said, realistically, what do you think are the chances of them denying the proposed solution tomorrow, just by going off of the rules that were already set in 2022? Do you think what do you think are the chances?
I don't know what the chances are. As we stated earlier, I'd like to think people would stand up as advocates for doing what's right. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that will be the case. But something needs to be done. Some change needs to happen for sure.
A couple more questions. We've got a Steelers fan in here. Jeremiah said, Steelers fan in here, don't get mad. Do you think the Steelers can sneak into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. See, that's one thing I like about, I appreciate about the Steelers. I think you guys fight hard and you never give up. So I respect, and we got to say thank you for what you did, this past Sunday, beating Baltimore. Although with this craziness that's going on, it doesn't even seem like it matters really to us. But I still can appreciate Tomlin. I still can appreciate that organization. It's crazy. I've grown to not hate the Steelers as much as I used to. It's more, I despise the Ravens fans a lot, but that's just me, and Browns as well. So.
A couple more. Keith Gregory asks, are the Eagles for real this year?
No, I don't think so.
Chasten is asking, Malik, what are the chances that you see Sam Hubbard playing this Sunday?
I think Sam was close this past week. I think we could see him play this Sunday, depending on how everything shakes out. But the Bengals could choose to hold him out. I think it's a game the Bengals could win without Sam, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. And, just so you guys know as well, I don't just do a Bengals show, right? We also do a show Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern time called The Sitdown with Malik Wright, where we talk about everything NFL, everything NBA, everything UFC. We talk about everything in the world of sports. We have guests on the whole 9 yards. So not just that, but make sure you guys do me a favor. You guys, if you guys like, this live, I'm not getting off this yet, but if you like this live, just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have a Twitter, follow First Star Logistics on Twitter. This is who the show is presented by, and we're live from the First Star Logistics studio. So yeah.
Rambo Gamble said, thanks for answering my questions. You guys rock. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother. We hope to see you back in the chat, man. You've been fun.
Sonny said, what are the chances that the Bengals will win the Super Bowl? I hope and pray that they do. I like your broadcast show. It's awesome. I live in Kentucky. My name is Sonny Hines. I love you guys.
Hey, Sonny, man. I appreciate you, man. We love you too, brother. I think the Bengals, I had the Bengals are my Super Bowl pick because I saw, listen, people always said, oh, the Bengals are, the Cincinnati Bengals are, they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover. And I always said, how could a team that wasn't expected to do anything, that was literally playing with house money, right? The Bengals have a saying where they say money on the flow. That's what the Bengals defense always says. They have money in the flow. And I think that the Bengals were playing literally with house money. For those of you who don't know, big betting guy, big gambling guy. But Bengals were playing with house money last year when they made the Super Bowl, right? It's not too often you see a team go to the Super Bowl and essentially they don't get a chance to address they don't address their needs after, like, or they typically lose players, so on and so forth. But the Bengals actually saw what their holes were, which was the offensive line, which had Joe Burrow had a split second more, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But the Bengals had the opportunity to the Bengals had the opportunity, had they had a more sufficient offensive line, they could have won the Super Bowl. And the Bengals went out in the offseason. They said what they were going to do. They fixed the offensive line. Still wasn't perfect. And they're all clicking on all cylinders right now. You know, this, I said before on the show, this is your grandfather's Bengals. This is your dad's Bengals. This is a different team. People are waiting for the shoe to drop. It's not that. Joe Burrow's not that cat. Joe Burrow's not that type of quarterback that's going to allow the shoe drop. Listen, I think the Bengals are a team that is I think the Bengals are a team that are battle tested. I think they keep working.
Matt Burr said, "Is there still a State of the Jungle tomorrow, Malik?"
Yes, there's still a State of the Jungle at 7 p.m. I can't tell you I'll be talking a whole lot. If you guys can't tell, my voice a little shot, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going till 1.
So, question here from our guy Cam.
Yeah.
He said, "Are the Cowboys going to make a playoff run this year?"
Cowboys are a weird bunch to me, man. I gotta be honest with you, Cam. I thought that they were gonna make a lot of noise this year, but at the end of the day, it's they seemed like, I don't know, they seemed like they took a little bit of a step back this year. I know they're still winning. I know they're gonna be in playoffs this year, but I just haven't been as impressed with the Dallas Cowboys, to be completely honest with you.
How do you think Hakeem Adeniji has been playing? How do you feel about him moving forward? He looked good against the Bills.
I'm slow to judge. I try to slow to judge unless it's Kenny Pickett, right? I guess. But I think Hakeem Adeniji did pretty good in his limited reps, against the Bills. He impressed me. It seemed like Joe had time. I have a lot of faith. I think that guy is very athletic, very agile, and I think that the Bengals offensive line can win with him. I mean, that's how I feel.
Do you think that facing the Ravens back-to-back is going to pose a challenge for the Bengals?
I think the Bengals can beat the Ravens by being a little vanilla on offense because if you got Lamar, Lamar and things of that nature, not playing, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I think that anytime you're facing your divisional rivals back to back, and especially in a playoff atmosphere, it's never a good thing.
Michael said, "Malik, honey and lemon juice, brother." That is going to fix your voice for tomorrow.
Appreciate that, brother. I'll make sure I store up on that.
Davin Gabes is saying, "I'm hoping that we still come out looking the same this upcoming Sunday, even after the traumatic sequence on Monday night." Yeah,
and I mean, no doubt, everybody was thinking about Damar Hamlin, and everybody is continuously, and Damar Hamlin's still on our thoughts and prayers. Make no mistake about that at all. That was a tragic situation that took place Monday night, and the focus still should be on his health and him getting better. Obviously, the league has to continue to move on and things of that nature with the playoff schedule coming up and all that. But make no mistake about it, I love seeing that Cincinnati's still lit up blue. I love seeing that Cincinnati still is keeping his name in their thoughts and their prayers. So
one DJ said, "What's your sleeper team in the playoffs this year, if you have one?"
Sleeper team in the playoffs. When you say sleeper team, are we talking about a team that could go to the Super Bowl? I don't know.
I'd say a sleeper team,
just
like a team
that could win a game.
Yeah,
I think the Giants. I think the Giants could shock people. I've been on that train, Daniel. I do.
Yeah.
I think the Giants could shock. I like the Chargers too. I think the Giants though can beat the Vikings though, who I think they're currently slated to face. I think the Vikings are frauds.
Yeah, I agree. And I was high on Kirk Cousins. We've got a lot of people asking about what's your take on Joe Mixon and all these others. Make sure you guys just go rewatch the show after. We talked about a lot of this, the Joe Mixon and the rest of these. But people are asking about the Chiefs, Malik. How do you think that the Chiefs are going to play in the playoffs? And do you think that the Chiefs are still going to make or can make the Super Bowl this year?
I think the Chiefs, I mean, they can for sure. But I think the Chiefs, if they run into the Bills or the Bengals, I think they're I don't think the Chiefs are on this. I think the Bengals and the Bills are a little step ahead of the Chiefs. And I think it's also because of some of the Chiefs deficiencies on defense. And I think it's more so like the Chiefs fans kind of know that too. It's like, all right, we're good. We're in the playoffs, but man, I want to play Buffalo. I don't want to play Cincinnati. And if I do, damn. I think that the Chiefs have a better shot at beating Buffalo than they have beaten Cincinnati.
Ryan said, been listening to you, Malik, forever. You are the absolute best. But how is it that we win the division and still may not even get a home playoff game?
It's crazy, right? I agree.
Funky said, what's your take on Joe Mixon? Do you think that Joe Burrow should make a statement as well?
I mean, I think at some point the players just got to play, regardless. It's something that's out of their control. So I don't know how much him making a statement would do, but yeah.
Couple more rapid fire questions. Sure. I love these. Will the Dolphins make the playoffs?
No.
So our guy one DJ said, I think that the Lions are going to upset Green Bay and win their wild card game. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that they're beating Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has caught fire. Aaron Rodgers looks great. And I think Aaron Rodgers is on one now. But if you guys could do me a huge favor before we log off, we're going to be on for just 2 more minutes. We're getting off at 1 a.m. If you guys can give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like I said, we have live shows Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern time, right? We have Tuesdays at on the right bet, which is, at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we have State of the Jungle, our Bengals show, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're actually doing a special State of the Jungle live today at 7 p.m. because we missed this past Wednesday. But yeah.
For those of you, who are new to the show, just understand we were at our house when the news broke, and Malik said, let's go to the studio. Like, we obviously understood that we had a show tomorrow, but this is the type of stuff that we do, right? We've got 277 people in this live, and we answer you guys' questions. This is why we're here, right? So our guy Keith Bradley said, Malik, if I run into you in town between now and the off season, lunch or dinner on me for you and Daniel.
Hey man, I appreciate you, brother. We appreciate all you guys supporting. Like, we don't want money or anything like that for you guys joining in and answering questions. We just want we want to just completely create a community where it's inclusive, and we want to talk with you guys about our Cincinnati Bengals, right, in the NFL and things of that nature. So that's why we try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Really, really appreciate each and every single one of y'all.
I want to kind of highlight this. As the entire city of Cincinnati exhibited class and the empathy that they showed for Damar. What are your thoughts on how Cincinnati expressed themselves?
Amazing. But it's everything that I knew, right? When I moved here in September, and I said, the people of Cincinnati is why I moved here. The people are first class, to be honest with you. The love that this Bengals organization, that this fan base shows for their team and their sports teams, they love to support, is really second to none. I think the Bengals have the best fan base in the NFL. I genuinely believe that. I think the Bengals and the Bills have the best fan bases in the NFL, and loyal as well. So I'm just happy that I could be a part of the media here and as a catalyst, and hopefully I represent the city in the right way for you guys. And I hope that I hope that you guys enjoy hearing me talk about the Bengals. You guys know Malik season's coming up, where I'm gonna start breaking some NFL news a lot more. I really just appreciate each and every single one of y'all for tuning in and making this, making this be perfect. So
yeah. Tubby said, I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm going to subscribe. Sonny said, thank you for your broadcast. You're awesome, and I will continue to keep watching and listening. God bless you guys. And Keith said, this was worth the lack of sleep. Thank you guys.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much again, because without you guys, we don't do this. We can't do this, right? You're letting a kid from New Jersey move to Cincinnati, live out his dream, always wanting to cover the NFL and hopefully doing it the right way. And I'm just proud that I could, be hashtag new media here for Cincinnati, because we definitely are changing the landscape. We plan on doing it, but I can't do it without the people here at First Star Logistics who we're live from the First Star Logistics studio. And I'm just blessed to be able to come to you guys on a weekly basis, and you guys get to hear my rants, hear me talk, and hear me lose my voice.
So real quick, we got Houday from Calgary, and also
Houday, man.
one last one. Fan from Norway just woke up. Can you summarize what the F is happening? Summarize in a quick 20 seconds.
The NFL screwed the Bengals, or are planning to screw the Bengals. And unless people speak up, unless people, call it out for what it is, and owners, so we get some people ownership stand up, and we will be screwed. So that's pretty much what happened. But if you missed anything, you gotta pretty much run it back, essentially, spin the block. So, but tomorrow night you can catch us live. Well, today night. You catch us at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Me and my co-host Logan will be going live, and we're talking all things Cincinnati Bengals. You guys can catch us Mondays as well at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Me and Meg, and we will be going live on the Sitdown with Malik Wright. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can't say it enough. We don't want anything else. Subscribe to YouTube channel. Leave this video a like, comment. We appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us at 1 o'clock in the morning, talking everything Cincinnati Bengals. I have a lot more to say later at 7 p.m. But until then, guys, we are signing off live from the First Star Logistics studio. Me, my man Daniel, and we'll catch you guys.